Were you one of the ones booing Matt Kemp today? That was cold.
Absolutely.
I was thinking 2 weeks ago they were cheering. Isn't it amazing how quickly? It's just amazing.
Doc, I think you're probably expecting a pretty tough game from these guys.
Yeah.
What did you think about the wherewithal your team showed today?
Yeah, it was a tough one. I mean, they were making shots. They got small and started, made us match up a little bit. We got in foul trouble in the first half. They were sitting here waiting for us, from last night. So you knew going into the game, you just felt like it was going to be a hard game. It's fun to watch them play because they're so young for the most part. And they're just running around and spreading the floor, and they're playing so free because, their whole theory is get it tight and make the team that should win tight, and it's working for the most part.
You talked about needing to start better defensively. That didn't really happen, but when you end defensively, does it?
Yeah, if I had to choose, I guess I would pick that. I would like to start the first quarter great and the fourth quarter great. In the middles, I could get away with it, but that was great. And especially against them, the way they spaced the floor, I thought defensively we really turned it up. JJ, our offensive player, had 3 charges today, so that's terrific.
Doc, is there anything you do most about the performance of the team in the end execution?
Down the stretch, it was good. We scored and we got fouled, but I think we can do things a little better.
What do you think about Jamal Crawford's performance tonight?
He was up and down, but he's starting to get it. He went on a little stretch where he's struggling, but you can see him coming out of it now.
Talking about the bench, Milwaukee.
Better talk quicker, young man.
Milwaukee outscored you guys, I think, 59-23 on the bench. Talk about their bench production.
Yeah, but that's so misleading because their bench played a lot more minutes. So when their bench plays more minutes, they're going to score more. I think their bench may play more minutes than some of the starters on their team. But their bench is good. I mean, they play 10 guys. Your turn.
Is there anything you can do differently lineup-wise to combat the slow starts?
No. I think I'm going to keep starting Blake and DJ and Chris. JJ's pretty good.
How about early rotations?
It's too late. I mean, either you start well or you don't. What we can do better is come into the game and have a defensive mindset. I think because we score so much, I think a lot of times we come into games and we just feel like, let's go blow them out with our offense. And I'm trying to convince them that the way you get the ball is with your defense. When we get multiple stops, we score a lot of points. When we don't, we have to deal with that.
You think this has anything to do with getting guys more rest and what you're talking about the past couple weeks of practice?
I have no idea. I think more it has to do with we haven't had a practice in a month, so it feels like it, and so you have slippage.
How do you know, as a head coach, how do you know how far to push your guys when they need a break or when?
You really don't. You go by your eyes. You go by, we have our own internal stats that we try to keep, but it's a guessing game. I mean, it's so individual. It really is, and I probably learned that in Boston because I had older players, and, Kevin, he had this minute in a row thing. If he went over a certain amount of minutes in a row, he couldn't recover back. Even if you got him 20 minutes rest in a row, it was too late once he went over. Paul, you can play for 50 minutes. They're the same age. It's so individual and how they handle it.
You've gone with DeAndre a lot with the backups early in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Today you went with Blake. How did you like how that looked? Did it?
What I don't like, honestly, and it's more, like today we got in foul trouble, so we had no choice in the first half. The DJ Baby lineup, offensively for us, we struggle sometimes because they can help off of those guys. And, when Blake's with one of those two guys, it opens the floor back up. The problem is, that's a great plan, but then if Blake is in the foul trouble, then there's your plan. That's the value of Spencer Hawes, but we don't have him right now.
Speaking defensively, is this the DJ that you've been looking forward to seeing the last few games?
Yeah, I think DJ's been great all year, really. There's times where the team hasn't been, but DJ is a consistent defender. He's been great.
Doc, with kind of practice, is it hard to kind of see where this team could go? Because I'm sure there's some things you'd like to do.
No, I think we're going to be really good.
Yeah.
We're pretty good now.
Yeah.
But this season is a little difficult. You got to get through the season. You look at the losses today. I mean, teams are losing, and you just got to keep playing. It's a marathon, and it is what it is.
Chris has seemed kind of frustrated with his lack of free throws and number of fouls in recent games today.
Yeah.
6 pretty huge points
Yeah.
made from the free throw line. Did you sense that he was trying to maybe create more contact, attack a little?
I thought he just got very aggressive, and when you get that aggressive, you get to the foul line. Yeah, I don't like anybody looking for fouls because usually you don't ever find them. You know, you have to go look for a bucket and then you find fouls. That's usually how it works.
How do you prepare your team mentally with the Spurs coming up and Atlanta and coming back home against the Warriors?
You just tell them we got the Spurs. Really, let's not talk about the other two because we got 3 games in 4 days and a lot of travel. It is what it is. And I just keep telling our guys that, hey, what do you want me to do? I can't change the schedule. So we have to play the games, and they're hard games. And our guys, we have to. I keep talking about rest. At some point, we may have to do it. We'll see.
Talk about JJ's just how valuable he is to you.
He's so valuable for us because he's a one-man offense. With his movement. It's funny when he plays. You can see every play we call the other team. They're jumping up. They know the play, which tells you they're prepared for it. They're worried about it, and that tells you the value of JJ because you can run stuff for him, and on the back action, you're really looking for that. But they're so focused on JJ that we actually did that out of the timeout, and we got CP with a little shot because you have to honor JJ.
It's rare on a 2-on-1 fast break to have a guy who can run back behind the 3-point line and bury a 3 on that.
And I, listen, I never could shoot, so I don't know what that is, but I don't know how they do it. I would have stepped out of bounds. That sounds simple. That's hard. The transition to run to that corner behind the 3 without stepping out of bounds. And I don't know how he does it. Him and Jamal do it. That's why they're JJ and Jamal. Would be my guess. Guys, don't you have something to do? Huh? None of you? Nobody? Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.